Hey there, Dave here, along with Chris and Jordan. We are Dumb Money. Welcome to a special live earnings call reaction episode. Molson Coors, ticker symbol TAP. They reported unexpected profit this morning, beating analyst expectations and sending the stock price higher. Good news, especially for Chris, who, as our regular viewers know, he bought a ton of Coors stock and options. It's your biggest bet right now. We're going to tell you exactly why he did that, but before we go any further, I wouldn't be doing my duty as a YouTuber if I didn't remind you to smash the like button, because I wouldn't ask if it didn't help. It really does help. It gets the video noticed by the almighty YouTube algorithm. Chris, Jordan, moments from now, Molson Coors is starting their earnings call. We're going to bring that to you live, along with our thoughts. But first, Chris, can you give us a brief overview of your thesis on Molson Coors and why you went all in?
Yeah, I mean, the thesis is, it has like 7 parts to it, but I'll do it as quickly as I can. I think it's probably the biggest of the undiscovered reopening trades. I think
actually, we're going to have to cut you off, and we're going to get your thoughts in a minute, but the CEO is taking a
limit yourself to one question, and if you have more than one question...
it's just the operator at this point.
I have a question for them today, and there's only one question I really want them to answer, and it's how are they preparing for potential unexpected monster success of Topo Chico hard seltzer in terms of manufacturing? Are they prepared, and how quickly could they ramp up manufacturing to dramatically increase supply going into the summer months? Right now, it's all being outsourced via third party that they coordinated with Coke. That's my question. I hope someone addresses that.
That's not something that they addressed in the pre-written remarks that they released in their press release. The only mention of Topo Chico is how it helped them increase their price per hectoliter or whatever they base that on.
I thought the earnings report was amazing. I'm glad they didn't mention it much, actually.
Let me start by stating the obvious. The first quarter was not the quarter we expected to have. That reality was driven by 3 events: cybersecurity incident that caused a global system outage, a freak winter storm in Texas that forced utility companies to shut off power to major businesses, including our Fort Worth brewery, and government pandemic restrictions that shut down the entire on-premise channel in the UK and severely restricted much of the on-premise in Canada. To say that all of these events happening in a single quarter is unprecedented would be an understatement. But while we can't control the weather, across the business we executed well on what was in our control. That's true of how we responded to each event. Our team quickly implemented contingency plans to boost production and get our core brands back to a stable inventory before Memorial Day. And right now, we are shipping over 1 million barrels a week in the United States for the first time in nearly a year. But most importantly, it's true of how we are executing on our revitalization plan. During the first quarter, Coors Light and Miller Lite outperformed the combination of Bud Light and Michelob Ultra in U.S. industry share performance versus the prior year, according to IRI. Our U.S. above premium portfolio grew brand volumes versus the prior year and continued to gain industry share, according to IRI. And we took substantial steps towards our hard seltzer ambition. Our Trust joint ventures non-alcoholic cannabis beverages are holding strong as the number $1 share spot in the entire Canadian cannabis beverage market. As expected, the availability of our 12-ounce standard cans returned to normal levels. And we continued working to protect the environment through 2 significant initiatives in the United Kingdom. So let's look deeper at each area. That starts with our core, where we continue to see improving brand volume trends for Coors Light and Miller Lite in North America over the past quarter, dovetailing off strong performance in 2020. But the performance is even more impressive when you look at our biggest brand and our biggest family of brands. Coors Light finished the quarter with its strongest category share performance since Q1 of 2017. And Coors Banquet posted its best quarterly volume performance in over 4 years in the United States. We're building on that strong performance in the Coors family of brands with the launch of Coors Pure in March, our first USDA-certified organic beer brand. And we had a strong Q1 in Panama, with over a 50% increase in brand volumes, with Coors Light's explosive triple-digit growth leading the way. Now, when it comes to our plans to aggressively grow our above-premium portfolio, As you know, we have big ambitions for hard seltzers this year, and the first quarter was a big one. And as we sit here today, our share of the U.S. hard seltzer segment is over 50% higher than it was at the beginning of the year. In a single week, Topo Chico hard seltzer jumped to a 3.2 share of the U.S. hard seltzer category, despite only launching in 16 markets, and it achieved a 20 share in Texas. Now, I know it's early days, but that is a stunning fact that speaks to the opportunity with this brand. And it's not alone in our portfolio. Vizzy was our top 10 U.S. industry growth brand in Q1. We are building on that with the brand's second variety pack, which launched in March, and the new Vizzy Lemonade, which launched several weeks later. They are both performing well. And in fact, Vizzy Lemonade is the second fastest turning hard lemonade seltzer in the market. We made significant headway with our hard seltzers in Canada and in Europe as well. After just over a month in market, Vizzy and Coors Seltzer are top 5 hard seltzer brands with some of the leading Canadian retailers. In the UK, our new threefold hard seltzer brand is launched, while our new brand Way in Central and Eastern Europe is launching in the coming weeks. In above premium beers, Blue Moon Light Sky, the number one new item in US beer last year, is currently the number one share gainer in US craft beer in 2021. And Hop Valley has made its official national debut in the US and Canada. It's our first national IPA in the US, and we believe it will be another driver of growth for our above premium portfolio. When it comes to our plans to expand beyond beer, last year we made a lot of news as we took on a number of partnerships to build a competitive portfolio. This year, it's all about executing on those plans. ZOA gives us a strong entry into the $16 billion US energy and performance space and is positioned to take a meaningful share of the category within a matter of months. It's just now beginning to hit shelves, but by Memorial Day, we expect ZOA will have over 80,000 points of distribution, and by the end of summer, that number is expected to climb to nearly 150,000. La Colombe gives us the number one above premium player in the RTD coffee space, and I'm excited to report that we are ahead of plan on all of our distribution targets. Plus Canada, our Canadian cannabis joint venture with Hexo, is holding strong as the number one dollar share position with 6 of the top 10 cannabis beverage SKUs in Canada. And our Trust USA joint venture is building on that through their first lineup of hemp-derived CBD beverages in Colorado. And we have now entered the fast-growing RTD cocktail space through an exclusive equity and distribution agreement with Superbird, an above-premium tequila-based Paloma. This entire lineup represents tremendous growth for our business and is helping us drive our emerging growth division towards a $1 billion revenue business by 2023. Last but certainly not least is how we are investing in our capabilities, our people, and our communities. We have long been recognized as a leader for our environmental efforts. And several weeks ago, we became the first major UK brewer to operate entirely by renewable energy. Soon, every one of the 1 billion pints of beer we produce annually in the UK will be made with 100% renewable energy. And we didn't stop there. We are removing plastic rings from all of our major cracks across the UK. In the US this month, we announced our investment in True Colors, a North Carolina-based brewery that was founded on the premise that aligning rival gang members under the same roof with a common goal can both mitigate street violence and create economic opportunity. We're excited to share our knowledge on brewing, brand positioning, and supplier relationships. And we are excited to be part of a business that is driving positive change and creating economic opportunity. Now, I can assure you the events of this quarter are not lost on any of us. But as the quarter came to a close, there is land on the horizon. The on-trend gradually began to open back up in the UK. Our industry standard can inventory normalized, and our weekly shipments in the US topped 1 million barrels for the first time in nearly a year. We are making progress on the things that are within our control, and we are delivering against our revitalization plan. And that is what gives me the confidence to reaffirm our guidance for the full year. That is what gives me confidence in the current expectation that the board will be in a position to reinstate a dividend in the second half of this year. That is what gives me confidence that we'll achieve long-term top-line growth. And that is what tells me the future of Molson Coors is bright. Tracy?
Thank you, Gavin, and hello, everyone. Despite the challenges Gavin mentioned, we are proud of our operational agility and resilience as we adeptly manage through these challenges while still continuing to execute our revitalization plan. Now, let me take you through our quarterly results and provide an update on our outlook. Consolidated net sales revenue decreased 11.1% in constant currency, principally due to lower financial.
Chris, all of this information is stuff that we've already read in a press release. Do you want to jump in and talk about what we had to cut you off for earlier?
Yeah, so the thesis, for those of you all that haven't been watching us over the past month, is a combination of what I believe to be one of the most underappreciated recovery trades in the market, being that Molson Coors has a pretty significant operation in Europe that's almost exclusively focused on-premise, meaning sales at restaurants and bars. That's been nearly completely closed down over the past year. I think their sales there are down like 45% even this quarter. As we've seen over the last week, that market is coming roaring back beyond our wildest expectations, just what we saw in the last 5 days in the UK. And I believe that will be the case in every European country over the next 3 to 6 months. Also driven by the hard seltzer business, which is what they already discussed on this call. For those of you all that don't know, the reason why Molson Coors has been so beaten down over the past few years is their complete absence from the hard seltzer business, which they just launched late last year with their Vizzy and Coors hard seltzer product. More exciting is the Topo Chico hard seltzer product that just launched a few weeks ago. We're seeing unprecedented demand, which we're not surprised about, but I think the market is a little surprised about. I think that story will go nowhere but up over the next few months. I think Topo Chico hard seltzer and Topo Chico ranch water, which no one even knows about yet, but that's coming out in a few weeks, I think, have potential to be somewhere between a 5 and a 10% market share, national market share of the hard seltzer market. That's just not on the radar right now. That's in no one's plan, not even internally at the company or analysts or Wall Street in any regard. So I think that's probably the biggest social arb here. Also, you have ZOA Energy. We talked about that heavily when we first started this trade about a month and a half ago. That's the Rocks energy drink. Molson Coors is the exclusive distributor of that drink in North America.
Yeah, that's the one that kind of got us initially thinking about Molson Coors to begin with, and then once we looked into it, because of our Discord community, getting us into that ZOA energy drink and what a monster he is at selling stuff through social media.
He's a 4-quadrant man. Remember the 4-quadrant movie, Dave? He's a 4-quadrant man. He appeals to everybody. Young women, young men, old men. It's pretty wild. And he's global. So, I think, listen, it's not going to be...
with Monster there, Dave.
I mean, he is a Monster energy drink seller, but he's selling a different brand. He's a monster at selling anything, though.
Yeah. I think it's not going to be a Monster. It's not going to be a Red Bull necessarily, but I think it has potential to be one of the top selling. It could be a Bang Energy. It could be a Celsius, and that would be huge for Molson Coors. A big game changer for Molson Coors, and it gets them in a market that they weren't even playing in. I mean, it's just all ancillary, right? These things are not in the numbers. These things are not in the forecast. There's nothing on anyone's forecast related to ZOA Energy in 2022 and beyond. So, but listen, more than anything else, it's a monster recovery play, right? Just with the beer business. They have a crappy beer business, right? Generally with Coors Light and Miller Lite. It's been in a downtrend for years. Nothing will be in a downtrend this year. Everything will be in an uptrend this year, right? Like when it comes to liquor. So I think this is the year that even their worst brands are going to have success. I think they made some incredible moves in beer, though. Like Blue Moon Light Sky is like one of the hottest beers out there right now in craft. It's going to kill it this summer, right? Blue Moon is killing it, but Blue Moon Light Sky just came out last year.
Yeah.
It's going to kill it. I mean,
you do have to... They are going to have pretty much no problem doing better than they have done, because their earnings per share, that penny of profit that was unexpected when we were expecting a 9 to 12 cent loss, that is a massive downslide from where the earnings were last year. It's a 97.1% drop in a year.
Yes. So this quarter was like the perfect storm quarter, right? Like it's never going to get, I can't imagine it being worse than this quarter anytime in 2021. There's nowhere but up to go. By the way, we're not financial advisors, guys. Remember that. We're just talking about what we're doing for our own portfolio. This is our commentary about our own investments in TAP.
I'm listening into the call. They're talking about North American EBITDA right now. This is all just, you can read this in the press release.
Nothing here to listen to, guys. Yeah.
We're gonna cut back in as soon as they get to the Q&A portion, because that is usually where there's some insight. Although I did think it was an interesting stat that the CEO mentioned in his opening remarks, that their U.S. hard seltzer share is up 50% since the beginning of the year. So during the 3 months,
It's incredible.
I mean, that's big, but I mean, their share was pretty much non-existent. So you could, double 1 to 2 and you've got yourself a 50%, 100% increase, right?
So Dave, no matter where you look in their business right now, they're popping on everything. Even, like I said, the Coors business, which is like the business that makes everyone want to short Molson Coors for the past 4 years. Coors Banquet is hot, like I said. We know why. Yes. Why is it hot? Cobra Kai, man. Cobra Kai. People don't get it. They don't understand the influence
that these
shows have over people.
The whole retro thing is big, right? And that
you want your retro, but you've had enough of the PBR. You gotta reach for the banquet.
Jordan,
there's no more retro brand than that little short, stubby glass bottle. Right. You just feel like you've taken a step back in time. Comments coming in. That,
how many people watch?
Zoa tastes terrible, which I can agree with. I tasted it
Not
here
true.
Live, and
ridiculous.
That's gross.
Ridiculous. That's a ridiculous statement. It tastes exact. The standard flavor of Zoa Energy is almost identical to Red Bull. So a lot of people think Red Bull tastes like junk. A lot of people think Monster regular tastes like junk. But like that's just how these things taste, right? And if anything, I've read every Zoa review that's been printed. If anything, people think Zoa tastes definitely better than your comparable at Red Bull or Monster, because it's a little bit lighter. It's a little bit more natural feeling than the Red Bull or Monster. So I agree. If you don't like energy drinks, you're not going to like Zoa either, right? But energy drinks are insanely big market. People, it's the kind of thing where you just have to drink it a while. If you drink Red Bull 20 times in a row, you'll just like it all of a sudden. You'll go from hating it to like it. Same thing with that standard energy drink flavor.
Have you tried any of the Truss beverage flavors? I know it's you can't get the THC ones here; they're only in Canada. But coming to the U.S. soon, I'm just curious what that's going to do in this market.
So Dave, again, going to reviews. It's the only one anyone likes in the THC beverage market. It crushes reviews in Canada. People are like, dude, there's no comparison between Truss and the other players in that space. Truss is the market leader. People love the taste. It's the only one that tastes good. People love it. All right. So if that market grows, Truss will be the leader. There's no doubt in my mind. They are going to be the White Claw, the first leader in that world. But that's not going to come to play this year, right? That's not a needle mover this year. It's not something I'm really thinking about this year for Coors.
No, not this year. But they were talking about their dollar per share on the CBD beverage that they have in Colorado now. So it's coming here. It'll be a while.
It will be a while. It's coming here. But here's the deal. Listen. If you say Zoa tastes horrible, I want to know what you think about Red Bull and Monster, because I haven't seen a single person that's like, oh yeah, Red Bull tastes good, but Zoa doesn't. And by the way, Zoa has all these flavors. I think we're just talking about the standard energy drink flavor. You either like it, you don't. Topo Chico is a whole different story. Some people love it, some people hate it, but more people like it than don't like it, and the brand affinity is huge. So
yeah, I'm a fan of the Topo Hard Seltzer. I will go on record. Just the brand affinity to Topo alone makes me want to like it. You could probably put something that actually didn't taste as good in that can, and I'm gonna want to like it so much that it starts to taste good. But I actually like it.
I just think the can looks good at parties, right? It's sitting there in the ice. It's got that Topo logo. You want to have that, right? Doesn't it look great?
Yes. It's the cool seltzer, no doubt, this year. Guys, you know what? I came to the... You're listening, Dave, to make sure they're not going to Q&A right now?
Yes.
They're still just reading finances. Okay.
They're talking about
one
approaching second quarter 2009 with that really nice South African accent. She's wonderful.
And amortization of $800 million.
I mean, it's
I came to a conclusion in my meditative state, thinking about hard seltzers and what makes a hard seltzer successful. I went all the way back to White Claw, the first days of White Claw. I remember a few years ago carrying a case of White Claw to a party in my neighborhood, thinking I'm so excited to try this because everyone was like excited about it, and I tried it and I was like, this is horrific. I'll never try one again. I had like half of one. I put it down and I went right to the bar because there was everything you could want, like liquor, beers, whatever. Everything was there. But you have to understand something. Most people, millennials, Gen Zers, like younger people, when you go to a party, if there's a bunch of hard seltzer, guess what you're drinking? You're drinking what that was. So at the time, if there was White Claw in the fridge or in the cooler, everyone's drinking that till it's done. You know what happens when you drink something a bunch? You eventually develop a taste for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the reason why White Claw is as big as it is right now is because people were forced to drink that stuff the first year this stuff was out. It's the only one they drank, and they developed a taste for it. Then demand got overrun, and there was nothing but Truly. Remember when everyone was forced to drink Truly because there was no White Claw? You literally were forced to drink it. You went to the grocery store. The only hard seltzer you can buy for the entire summer, pretty much, was Truly because White Claw was sold out. Guess what happened? People developed an affinity for drinking Truly. They're like, you know what? I think I like this one a little better now. Well, guess what? You've been drinking that one for like a month and a half, and now all of a sudden you like that one a little better. And then Truly took advantage of that, and they never pulled back on the supply. They're smart. They're like, you know what? Now that we have them, we're never going to let them get to something else, right?
No, I immediately liked Topo. The first flavor I tried was the lemon lime, and there's something off about it, and it was because there was so much lemon in it. But I like all the flavors.
Are you
but here's the thing, guys.
Yes.
I didn't even realize that. Is amazing. By the way, can you only get the multi-flavor packs? Can you not just get the lemon lime? Because that's the only one I'm really interested in.
Some areas they are stocking them. Yeah, in like a C-store, and they have the larger cans. I've seen.
Oh, because all they've got in my local supermarket is the 12-pack that has the multi-flavor.
If you try
Q&A is beginning now.
The question, you may press star then 1 on your telephone keypad. If you are using a speaker.
While they're asking the questions, what is the question you wanted to know? It's about the plans to roll out.
I want to know how are they prepared to meet summer demand of Topo? Do they have a deal, or they have plans in place to do their own manufacturing per their arrangement with Coke?
Our first question comes from Vivian Azer with Cowen. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you very much. Gavin, you called out the reopenings in the UK. It sounds like Ireland made some announcements in addition this morning about outdoor. So that's certainly encouraging given how much exposure you have to the UK market. As we look at the comps, the shape of the year is clearly going to be lumpy, but in order to kind of solidly get that business, into growth, considering the year-over-year compares on a full-year basis for COVID, do you need full indoor reopenings, or do you think just, outdoor, if outdoor can hold, that's enough to get you guys to positive volumes for the year? Thanks.
Good morning, Vivian. Thank you. Yes, look, as you rightly say, the UK did open on April the 12th, I think it was, for outdoor dining at pubs and restaurants. We've seen about 30 to 40% of the establishments reopen, and our volume in those establishments for the UK is up double digits in the sort of first few weeks of April. I think the next step is on May the 17th when indoors opens completely, and then we have June the 22nd, there'll be a full reopen. So, so far, just a few weeks into the burn, it's actually been pretty positive, Vivian. Thanks. Davey?
He didn't really run with that question, did he?
The next question is from Bill Kirk with MKM Partners.
Hey, thanks for taking the question. I have a follow-up on Topo Chico Hard Seltzer.
Here we go.
It seems that after the sell-in, that the shelves have been a little slow to replenish. So I guess the question is, are you or contract partners having any difficulty keeping up with demand? And if so, how does that impact your decision on how geographically broad to offer the product?
Or manufacturing
Thanks, Bill.
more.
Good morning. Yes, you're right. I mean, we had a spectacular launch of Zoa. Got to
Analysts are
almost
idiots.
it's not Zoa, sorry, Topo Chico. We got to almost a 20 share in Texas, and you know, we got to pretty close to a 7 share of the overall seltzer market in its first week of performance. And as you rightly point out, we've had very strong reorders of Topo Chico. We're working with Coke to increase our supply of Topo Chico, and I think it'll be a little constrained as we meet the huge unexpected demand for that brand. But you know, as the weeks progress, I think you'll see progressively those shelf spaces being filled. I think it was the right decision for us to go to, the limited number of markets that we did, and we won't be expanding that until we're quite comfortable that we can meet the substantial demand that we've had in its existing markets.
Thanks, Gavin.
You expand.
So nothing really of
The next question
So
comes from
he didn't really
Lawrence
say
Grandet
anything
with Guggenheim.
about
Please
how they
go ahead.
actually plan to do it. Other than working with Coke to get more Topo, do they really have to get more Topo from Coke?
The Topo Chico
No.
phenomenon, and
Carbonated
also
water, it's
follow
all
up
the same.
from this one. I'm not sure I understand how Coke can help here. I mean, is it because you don't have enough, flavoring and nutrients, kind of the concentrate, or is Coke helping you in terms of finding capacity to manufacture it? I thought it was all manufacturers from the contract manufacturers. So help me understand here the role Coke is playing in fulfilling the capacity. And my second question is more for Tracy. It's what makes you believe that the board would be willing to increase the dividend in the second half, and what are the KPIs that they are looking for and that we should pay attention to?
Thanks, Lauren. Look, it was always our intention with Topo Chico that we would take over the relationship and supply chain which Coca-Cola had established ahead of us entering into our agreement with Coca-Cola. And so we work closely with Coca-Cola and the third-party contractors. I think we've said in the past that it's our intent to sort of keep that relationship at least until the end of the year. I mean, we certainly have enough seltzer capacity in our Fort Worth brewery, given the 400% increase that we made towards the end of last year. So that's the role Coke played. The original relationship was between Coke and the third party, and we just work closely with Coke and the third party. Trace?
Yeah. So, hi, Lorraine. So, just in terms of our confidence around our guidance, so we did reaffirm the guidance as we've said. The actions that we took in 2020 greatly improved our financial flexibility, which better enabled us to execute against our capital allocation priorities. Including investing behind our brands and our business to grow top line, to pay down our debt. And as we've said, we've paid down $1.1 billion since March of 2020. And so, the next lever is to return cash to our shareholders. And, as we said, consistent with our Q4 2020 earnings comments, we do currently anticipate that our board will be in a position to reinstate the dividend in the second half of the year. And we are having those discussions with them as to when and how we will reinstate that dividend.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.
The next question is from Andrea Teixeira with J.P. Morgan. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So I just want to follow up on first on the MG&A, the ability to control, and you had an impressive reduction in the leverage to pull through the end of the year to keep your FX neutral, EBITDA flat. So I wonder if how long and how many levers you can pull in order to fund the additional marketing spend and still nevertheless have continued this reduction in basically everything else. I'm assuming T&E and all the other synergies that you have been pulling. So if you can help us kind of bridge that gap, I guess that's the question for Tracy. And then also on a follow-up for the dividend, is that the way we should be thinking is that as you go into the second quarter and you basically go through this plan, the board is waiting to see if you don't need to revise anything by the second quarter in order to reinstate the dividend? Is that the way we should be thinking here?
I'll tell you what, Andrea, I'll take the marketing side of your question, and then Tracy, if you can handle the G&A and the dividend side of Andrea's question.
Thanks, Kevin.
Our revitalization plan, one of its core tenets was that we were going to spend more money behind our core brands, behind our above premium brands, and also to, extend beyond the beer aisle with above premium. In the first quarter, we actually did increase our spend behind our innovations, and we also increased the spend behind media on our core brands. In fact, we didn't make any adjustments to our marketing plan in Q1 as a result of the cybersecurity incident or the Texas storm. We spent what we were planning to spend, particularly behind, as I said, our core brands and our innovations. We didn't plan to spend a lot of money in Europe because of the on-premise closures, and we certainly didn't spend any money, as Tracy said in her opening remarks, on live sports or live concerts in the USA or Canada because there weren't any. We do expect a substantial increase in marketing, particularly in Q2, returning pretty close to the 2019 levels as we fuel the tremendous momentum that we've got behind brands like Vizzy, Topo Chico, our core brands of Miller Lite and Coors Light, and obviously as Europe starts to reopen, we'll be increasing our marketing spend in Europe in Q2 and beyond as well. Trace, do you want to take G&A and then the dividend?
Yeah. So, Andrea, from a G&A point of view, obviously there are things like T&E, that we're just not spending behind with the restrictions in travel. And other targeted cost savings, for example, in the UK, where the on-premise was locked down for the entire quarter. There were obviously savings related to that as well from a G&A point of view. I also want to remind you that we do have the cost savings program that we announced last year, $600 million over 3 years. In 2020, we achieved $270 million of that 600, and we expect to achieve in sort of roughly in equal portions the balance in 2021 and 2022. So there is the cost savings, which we are continuing to track very well against, that will provide some relief and enable us to carry on with our revitalization plan and invest behind our brands to grow that top line. As it relates to the board, as I said, we are having conversations with the board. We are assessing exactly when and how we will be recommending to the board to reinstate the dividend. So I can't say much more than that, but more to come.
Thank you. Pass it on.
The next question is from Chris Carey with Wells Fargo Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I guess I'm just trying to understand a little bit, how this year is going to play out, just given what you have kind of mentioned, which I think basically is, shipments will exceed depletions, but not until the back half of the year. So that's really where the inventory replenishment starts. So Q2 more in line with consumption. So maybe not, getting back all the volume that you lost during the incidents in Q1 in the quarter, in Q2 that is. And then you have, expectations for marketing spending. I'll just use MG&A as a proxy in Q2 being up year over year and sort of in line with 2019 levels or a little bit below. I think that's what I heard. And I guess if I'm putting all that together, you could see something like MG&A up 500 basis points in North America, for example, and EBITDA implied up, kind of double digits in the back half of the year to get to the flat EBITDA. And I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers out there, but the general concept here is that Q2, a slow recovery, if you have the significantly accelerated spend, what happens if the recovery is a little bit slower? Do you pull back on that? And then just confirming this dynamic that it seems like to get to the flat EBITDA, it's really about, just delivery in the back half of the year. Apologies for, more of a financial question, but, if that kind of makes sense, I appreciate any perspective on that. Thanks.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, there's a lot in that question, right? So, I mean, obviously, we're not going to give quarterly guidance. The numbers, the guidance that Tracy has given you are for the full year, and we'll let that stand on by themselves. From a recovery point of view, we pretty quickly put a plan in place. We're prioritizing our core brands of Coors Light, Miller Lite, Coors Banquet, Blue Moon, Miller High Life, Keystone Light, and Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy. So that's our primary focus at the moment. We've discontinued or deprioritized slower moving brands and packs. Most of that is in the economy space, but also some cider. Now, the plan is designed to make sure that we recover our core brands to be in a much better place by Memorial Day, and ultimately for Europe. The seltzers and the innovation supply, frankly, wasn't affected by the cybersecurity incident at all. Can supplies returned back to normal, producing 12-ounce bottles, aluminum pints, kegs at full capacity. So, I guess to try and get a little bit closer to your question, obviously, with us really only focusing on the core brands, that will imply that the slower moving and some of the deprioritized brands will only really be picked up in the second half of the year from a volume perspective. From a marketing spend perspective, we've got a lot of momentum behind some really exciting innovations which have landed well, and we'll be fueling those. And Coors Light's and Miller Lite's performance, as I said in my opening remarks, is strong. The campaigns are working, and we'll be putting the necessary firepower behind those two brands. Did you want to add anything, Trace?
No, I think you covered it. Yeah, that's good.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks for the perspective. Thank you.
The next question is from Steve Powers with Deutsche Bank. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And I guess, can we maybe hone in on the impacts of the February storms and the cybersecurity event in a bit more detail, and just how you size those impacts in the first quarter? In the final analysis, what amount of those impacts represent effectively lost sales versus volume you expect to recoup over the balance of the year, as you just described in response to Chris's question? Just understanding that dynamic in a bit more detail would be great. And maybe as part of that, if you could just characterize how thin U.S. channel inventories were exiting March relative to consumer demand run rates. And just then, what I'm really trying to figure out is just what the catch up is now that I presume you're shipping to full capacity as we sit here end of April. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Let me see. So, towards the end of March, we did file an 8-K, which laid out what we thought was going to be the impacts of the cybersecurity attack. If memory serves me correctly, we said 1.8 to 2 million hectoliters, and a shift of EBITDA of about $120 to $140 million. Now, I would tell you that the recovery plan, our supply chain team just did a tremendous job in sort of back end of March. So, I would say by the end of March, we were a couple of 100,000 barrels ahead of where we were expecting to be. So I think, you can assume that the impact was a little bit less than what we'd said in our 8-K. And, as we sit here today, I think it's the 29th of April, we've continued to meet the recovery plan, and in fact exceeded a little bit. So, I think our breweries are well on track with that recovery plan. We have seen sequential improvement in our core brands inventory, but we're not where we want to be just yet. we expect to be much closer to where we want to be with those brands by Memorial Day, and then fully recovered on the core brands towards in the sort of back end of the second quarter, and then we can focus in on those brands that we have paused beyond that. I think that's about as far as I'm going to go on the impacts, Steve.
Okay, fair enough. Was there just maybe on the February storms? Was there a material net impact there, or was that more a delay intra-quarter, and the real kind of carryover effect is the cybersecurity event?
Texas hurt because the Texas brewery was closed for almost 11 days. The government just shut the power down on us, and it obviously has knock-on impacts because there are some of our input material suppliers in Texas as well. So, it did have an impact further up the eastern seaboard as well. So, I would say certainly it did impact and was part of the 1.8 to 2 million hectoliters which we announced. The lion's share was obviously the cybersecurity incident, but the Fort Worth shutdown was not immaterial.
Understood. Thank you very much.
The next question comes from Kevin Grundy with Jefferies. Please go ahead.
Great, thanks. Hello, everyone. Gavin, a few related questions, if I could, on the market share progress that you called out on Coors Light, and of course this has been a priority for the company. So three related questions, if I could. One, if you could just spend a moment talking about the strategic shifts around marketing and positioning of the brand, given some of the pressures on the light beer segment. Two, what your growth expectations are for light beer broadly, sort of coming out of the pandemic here. And then lastly, just how you think about maximizing incrementality to the overall portfolio as you lean in on a multi-brand seltzer strategy, given that light beers have been a source of demand for seltzer. So your comments there would be helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, a lot going on there. Let me try and knock them off. So I'll start with your final point, right, which is actually more than half of the seltzer growth is actually coming from outside of the beer category. We've tested that number multiple times over the last year, and it's pretty consistent. So, obviously, premium lights are losing some element to seltzers, but it certainly is coming from other places, including craft and ironically economy. Less so actually premium lights, which may surprise you, but it's what the data says. We have seen continued positive trends for Coors Light and Miller Lite over the past quarter, dovetailing off the strong performance which we had in 2020. And the focus that we're placing on the health of our core brands is paying off. Specifically, our ambitions to connect with new drinkers and giving them a real reason to reach for Miller Lite and Coors Light and break through that big beer advertising clutter with fresh creative approaches, and we're seeing the benefits of it. For example, in Coors Light, we're up significantly in key brand health metrics like consideration and like household penetration, positive impressions amongst 21 to 34-year-olds, which is a key target market for us. And so far in 2021, Miller Lite's seen an increase in both consideration and positive impression. I can go on in quite some more detail on how the Coors Light campaign has turned a corner since the 2019 launch of Made to Chill. The brand's grown segment share in premium lights every quarter since we had that launch. We've cut our share loss in the total category by more than 70%, I think it was. Coors Light's continuing to establish itself as the brand consumers buy when they're ready to chill. So the campaign for Coors Light is resonating strongly with our core market, but also our growth targets. For example, the Latino drinker. So, our revitalization strategy required us to invest behind our core brands, and we're doing exactly that, and we are seeing the benefits of it. From a share point of view, I think I gave you some of the stats in our opening remarks. I don't know if I mentioned that above premium is also gaining industry share. Blue Moon LightSky is doing particularly well, and And I haven't talked much about Vizzy, but we think we've got a real winner with Vizzy. It's achieved almost a 3% share in 2020 with only one SKU, and that SKU moved faster in Q1 than all Bud Light Seltzer variety packs put together. We're expanding our footprint with new packs. We've got a second variety pack, the lemonade pack, and we've got a third new variant launching in summer. Our variety pack number 2 is already turning faster than our variety pack number 1. And Vizzy Lemonade is the second fastest turning lemonade seltzer in the market. Vizzy actually had a record sales week last week. So, you gave me a lot of questions. I've tried to give you a lot of answers and give you a little bit of color. I hope that helps, Kevin.
No, Gavin, that's fantastic. So congrats on the quarter and then good luck here. Thank you.
The next question is from Brian Spilland from BOA. Please go ahead.
Hey, thanks, operator. Good morning, everyone. Gavin, I had a question about on-premise in North America, and I guess more specifically the U.S. As on-premise reopens, how different do you think it might look, going forward, given seltzer's a much bigger portion of the category and growing today? Some accounts may be looking for, ways to have reduced touches, kind of on a sanitizing type, thought or just thinking about sanitation. So I guess I'm just trying to think, could on-premise potentially look different in the future than it did pre-COVID? And if so, does that create any opportunities for Molson Coors to gain some share in on-premise?
Yes, I think the answer to both of your questions, Brian, is yes. During the pandemic, we certainly saw an increased demand for large trusted brands, and that's particularly true in the on-premise, as your question is directed at. We also saw it in the off-premise, but it's particularly true in the on-premise, where on-premise owners are sticking to fewer, faster moving brands, and that obviously benefits brands like Miller Lite and Coors Light. It also helps us from a Blue Moon point of view as well. I mean, Blue Moon is the largest craft brand, as you know, and it's disproportionately focused on the on-premise. So the reopening of the on-premise and the move to large trusted brands is helping us, particularly with Miller Lite, Coors Light, and Blue Moon, and we've seen a tick up couple of points in our share in the on-premise as the on-premise has reopened. You referenced seltzers on premise, and certainly in packaged form, I think that is absolutely right. I mean, we've actually had triple-digit growth in our placements this year, and our retailers are reaching out to us asking for Topo Chico as quickly as possible, given its spectacular launch and the demand that's been created by that. Distribution of seltzers and velocity for us in the on-premise is actually increasing, and it's going to give us a real opportunity to do large-scale sampling opportunities, particularly through our alliances, because we know we've got great tasting products. When we get consumers to try them, they're sold, and that also applies to innovation like Blue Moon Light Sky. We're launching 2 draft seltzers on a regional basis through our craft companies, and we'll see how that plays out. But certainly, we're seeing big uptick in demand for our seltzer packaged brands in the on-premise. I hope I got all of that, Brian.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's helpful perspective. Thanks, Gavin.
Thanks.
The next question is from Rob Ottenstein with Evercore. Please go ahead.
Great. First, just a quick follow-up and then the main question. So just wondering kind of where you are in terms of the current run rate in the U.S. on STRs. They're kind of running down low double-digit in the scanner data, but obviously the on-premise is offsetting that. So just trying to get a sense of where the business actually is. That would be helpful. And then my main question really is on the hard seltzers, Gavin. It sounds like you're doing better than expected with Topo Chico, better than expected with Vizzy. Do you have maybe increased confidence that you'll get to that double-digit share of the category by the end of the year? And then you also referenced some work that you're doing on the international side with hard seltzers. How do you see those European markets developing for hard seltzers? Do you think there's a chance it can be as big as it is in the U.S., or is it very different given a different consumer? Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Okay, let me take the first question first. Look, as you know, we don't normally give these updates anymore, but I think given the cybersecurity incident, I'll make an exception and give you some flavor for how April's going. You reference scanner data. I mean, obviously that needs context, right? I mean, the 4-week data, scanner data is including that massive load-in that we had in the off-premise from March of last year, and so it doesn't take into account any shift into the on-premise. Over the last 4 weeks, our sales to retailers in the United States are up mid-single digits, Rob, so quite different to what you're seeing in the scanner data. We're shipping over 1 million barrels a week in the USA, as I said in my prepared remarks, and the UK volumes up double digits, despite only, as I said, 30 to 40% of on-premise being open, and only for outdoor dining. Your second question around seltzers, heading towards our goal of double digits or 10% by the end of the year. I mean, you're right. I mean, we had a spectacular launch of Topo Chico in the very limited markets in which it's in. It's only in 16 markets. So I think we've got a clear winner here. It will continue to fuel the potential of this brand, and based on the reaction in those 16 markets, I think it's got strong national potential, and we'll look to roll that out to future markets when we're confident that we can meet the unexpectedly very high demand that we had in its rollout markets. You're right on Vizzy. I think we believe we have a real winner with Vizzy. I won't repeat the stats I just gave. I think it was to Brian or Kevin, but I think particularly exciting for us is the fact that Vizzy Lemonade is the second fastest turning lemonade seltzer, and as I said, we had a record sales week for Vizzy last year. We're pleased with the performance. We had a singular SKU last year. We only launched in April, and we had inventory challenges. Well, we're meeting all the demand for Vizzy now that we've got the capacity up and running in our Fort Worth brewery. So if that means that we're more confident to get to our 10% target, we certainly think we've got the brands in the seltzer space to do that, and now we need to execute. I think the early data in the European market suggests that seltzer is going to be good. I'm not sure yet that I'm ready to tell you that it's going to be as good as it is in the United States. We don't have any data to support that, but certainly Three Folds has landed well in the United Kingdom, and Y is already in a couple of markets in Central and Eastern Europe, and we'll be rolling it out more fully towards the in this month. So I hope that helps, Rob.
Great. Thank you, Gavin.
The next question is from Bonnie Herzog with Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to quickly circle back to the cost pressures you're facing this year. I know you guys touched on this, but maybe you could just give us a little more color on how you expect this will evolve through the balance of the year, and really, what are some of the key levers that you have to mitigate some of these pressures? Maybe touch on a little bit further on any kind of hedging you have in place. And then I'd love to hear how you're thinking about pricing as a potential lever to offset some of these cost pressures. Thanks.
Bonnie, so I'll take the cost question. So our underlying COGS in the quarter increased 5.6%, and 470 basis points of that was inflation, with just under half of that related to the transportation. So, as I think everyone knows, the freight market was really tight. We spoke about this in Q4, and we said we expected to continue to be tight in Q1. It did start showing improvements in January and the beginning of February, but then that changed with all the winter storms, and that caused major disruptions to the entire transportation network. So, we expect to continue to see that tightening in the freight market. And then as it relates to us, sourcing cans from 4 continents is also actually added to that inflation. In terms of levers to mitigate that, I did mention our cost savings program. So we delivered $270 million of the $600 million in 2020. We expect to deliver the balance of that in 2021 and 2022, roughly in equal portions. And we're doing, so far we're tracking well to achieve those savings. And the majority of those cost savings are focused on COGS. So in addition to the cost savings program, as you mentioned, we have really robust hedging programs. We hedge all our commodities where we can. I don't want to get into the detail of how we hedge, but our hedging programs are robust, and that will help to mitigate some of the inflationary pressure that we are seeing.
Trace, thanks, Trace. On the revenue side, Bonnie, look, in terms of pricing, we don't give forward pricing guidance. Rather than using pricing to offset higher COGS, we've got hedging programs in place, which Tracy mentioned, and we have the cost savings programs in place as well. And I don't know, Trace, did you mention the fact that our guidance does actually include any cost pressures which we may have? We've factored that into the guidance which Tracy gave earlier on. Thanks, Bonnie.
Thank you. Helpful. The next question is from Sean King with UBS. Please go ahead.
Great. Thanks for the question. A broader question about distributor receptivity to some of the Beyond Beer moves that you're making. Like, how has that impacted your relationships with distributors? And then a second question on top of that would just be any update you can provide on progress with the Yuengling JV.
Thanks, Sean. Look, my excitement on ZOA got ahead of me when I was answering a Topo Chico question earlier on. ZOA has been extraordinarily well received by retailers, and by distributors alike. And we've got a very strong partner in Dwayne Johnson. He's not just a celebrity partnership; he's actually an owner of the business together with us. Frankly, every time he puts something out on Instagram, he reaches 231 million followers in a nanosecond. The true test of how innovation lands is what do the distributors order. And we just had our order window for the very first order close. I think it was either last night or the night before, and the orders are strong, and that tells you how the distributors feel about it. The retailers are particularly excited about it as well. So, we're just getting into the market with it now. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but where it has been in the market with some of the vitamin stores and GNC and online, the results are tremendous. So short story, very excited about ZOA from a retailer and a supplier and consumer point of view. La Colombe, we've already hit our distribution targets. We had distribution targets with our partner La Colombe that was set for the full year, and we're in April, and we've hit them. So that is an illustration of how our distributors have executed in C stores and the drug chain. So short answer is very good, Sean. From a Yuengling point of view, tremendous amount of work has gone into getting that ready to launch in the fall of this year in Texas. They've made tremendous progress, the joint venture hiring folk, setting up the distributor relationships, awarding the brand to the various distributors in Texas, and gaining commitments, talking to the chain. So I would say we're exactly where we thought we'd be with the Yuengling joint venture.
Great. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thanks, Sean.
The next question is from Camille Jarawala with Credit Suisse. Please go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for taking the question. A question on seltzers and guidance, perhaps together, and then seltzers and profitability. In your guide for mid-single digits for the full year, what are you incorporating for the contribution for seltzer? I've heard a lot of positive comments, but how big do you expect it to be? Is it big enough? Is it a point of the 5 points? Is it 3? If you could maybe just give some context on how you're thinking about it there. And then how should we think about profits and the impact on profits from many of these products? As you mentioned, ZOA, obviously there's more than one owner there with Topo Chico. You're aligned with Coke and rolling it out. Can you just maybe give us a context on maybe if the revenue contribution looks different from the profit contribution? Thank you.
Well, look, Carl, I'm not going to break down the sort of brand contribution to our NSR. I'll give you 2 points though. One is that our seltzers and almost all of our innovation operates in the above premium space, and some in the super premium space, and some of our innovation actually operates even above the super premium space. There's a lot of profit to go around for both ourselves, for our suppliers, for distributors, and for retailers. These are all above premium brands, and they're all going to contribute to the bottom line over time. So as far as contribution to NSR is concerned, I mean, essentially we had one brand in the market for 8 months of the year last year with Vizzy, and I think we exited the year at close to a 4 share of seltzers. We're closer to 7 share now than we were at a 4 share. We've got the plans, we've got the marketing muscle to put behind our seltzers for the balance of the year. I'm not going to be repetitive and bore you on all the excitement around Vizzy and both Topo Chico. Proof Points just launched into the market, so these brands are coming off a fairly low base from a contribution point of view in 2020 to our business, and so we would expect them to be a much more meaningful contribution to our business in 2021. I hope that's helpful, Colonel.
Got it. Thank you.
Decent question, not much of an answer.
The next question is from Lauren Lieberman with Barclays. Please go ahead.
So dry.
Hi, I'll keep it tight. My question was just on cybersecurity and just thinking about go forward costs, investments you might need to make to kind of shore up your systems. I know the company's been through several years of very, very tight times, and so just thinking about the degree to which maybe there's been some underinvestment and there's a need to kind of catch up, and the degree to which that's kind of already factored into this year or next year's thought process on spend. Thanks.
Yeah, so just in terms of let me start with the cyber incident. In Q1, we, as we said in our earnings release, we did incur a net expense of $2 million as it related to various consultants and experts that helped us and are helping us with the investigation. I actually don't want to talk too much about it because it still is an open investigation around the incident. But just in terms of investment, we have spent significant amounts of CapEx upgrading our systems in North America. We've spoken about US for a number of years, our DPNS systems. And at this stage, we are also upgrading our systems for Canada, where we're actually taking the Canadian systems and putting it onto our US systems. So, more than that, Lauren, I really don't want to give because it is an open investigation. Just in terms of Q2, though, as it relates specifically to the incident, we do anticipate some further minimal, really immaterial costs as we sort of put this to bed.
Okay, that's great. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Lauren.
This concludes our question and answer session. I'd like to turn the conference back over to Gavin Hattersley for any closing remarks.
Thanks, Debbie, and thanks everybody for participating in our call. Look, there may be additional technical questions which you have, and please feel free to follow up with our investor relations team. And we look forward to talking with many of you as the year progresses. So with that, thanks everybody for participating in today's call, and have a great day.
No one's going to ask about ranch water? Nobody? Like it's not even a thing?
Maybe there was some kind of embargo amongst the people who got to ask questions on the call, which we really need to figure out a way to get on the roster of analysts so that we can just lob one real question in during these calls.
Listening into a Euro-style earnings call just kills me every time. They're just so dry. Just come on, pump a little bit. You deserve it. You deserve it,
the
guys.
one thing that I noticed that, because you were talking about why don't they just ramp up production or like get other canners involved. They did mention that they need to get, that they had to coordinate with Coke. So I'm wondering, is there some supply constraint that they have to get something from Coke? Or do they have full autonomy over the manufacturing process?
No. Coke started off with a manufacturer, right? Before they signed a distribution and manufacturing and marketing deal, it sounds like. And they're taking it over. And at any point in time, they can basically expand manufacturing. They can do whatever they want. They're just being conservative, right? They're being conservative. I feel like if this was Sam Adams, who understands the delicacy of moving when it's hot, right? Yes. That they would be going nuts right now trying to figure out how to maximize the summer seltzer of 2021. Because this is the summer seltzer of 21.
Because they've basically missed the boat so many times along the way on getting a hard seltzer product. Now they have like an ideal lineup, and they're not quite ready to go nationwide with their big brand.
Yeah, it needs to be in everybody's hands.
Here's the Dave. Here's the thing: they see the numbers, but they don't feel it. They don't see what we see. They don't understand the power of Topo like we do. Like for a good example, Coke got on their earnings call this last week, and they're like, "It is exceeding our wildest expectations." Well, then you're an imbecile. Because that means you don't have the right expectations. You don't even understand. They bought the company for $300 million. They bought it for pennies. No one understood how big of a deal Topo was. Someone at Coke made the decision to buy them as like a round-off error, and they're like, "Oh, look at this! It's working out way better than we. What is this brand? Like, what's going?" They don't feel it. They don't know what it's like to be in a restaurant, in a bar like we are, because we own them, and to literally sit there at the bar. I ate yesterday at the Rustic for lunch, which is a company that we're investors in. We own a piece of the Rustic, right? If anyone is down south, there's like these live concert venues. The food is actually great. And I sat at the bar, and there's a European guy that came up and was, a few bar stools down, and he was having a conversation with the bartender. And they were talking about, I guess he ordered a ranch water. I don't know, she must have talked him into getting a ranch water, which is, for those of you who don't understand what that is, it's basically just tequila, lime, and soda water. And it's what everybody's been drinking here in Texas for the past year and a half. It's like the drink of the summer last year. And it's coming to you soon nationwide, right? And so he was so pissed off and confused. He was like, well, why they call... Oh, when he learned there was alcohol in it, he's like, oh, there's alcohol in it? Why they call it water? He's like, what? And he couldn't grasp it. And she was laughing at him because it's a European guy. He's in town for business. He doesn't understand, right? Like people just don't understand. And it's such a funny conversation. I'm sitting there. I'm like, dude, this is like, it's part of the culture. It's ranch water. It's with Topo, man. Like, come on, get with the program. But it's coming soon to a city near you. The same way
under
that
the Topo
Tito's
brand,
was
they're
coming
doing a Topo branded ranch water, which will differentiate it because there's probably a dozen different ranch waters, and I've tried a couple of them, and it's like there's a difference. It's going to be super
carbonated. But it's not about the numbers, right? Dave, it's not, like if you look at ranch water sales, like in cans, because they have a few brands, we've talked about this. You don't look at that and be like, oh, that's what the ranch water demanded. No, Topo is. It's the excitement, and we always talk about depth of interest. It's really hard to measure depth of interest because you might have a hit Netflix show, right? And you might have a dozen hit Netflix shows, and they all have roughly the same amount of viewership because if it's a hit Netflix show, pretty much 80% of people on Netflix watch it. But the best Netflix shows have a depth of interest that might be 3 times greater than a show that gets almost the same viewership. The data is almost the same, but the water cooler talk is 3 times as big, meaning the people's willingness to sign up for Netflix because their buddy talked about this show is 3 times as great as the other show that the number crunchers on Wall Street are like, I don't understand. The Nielsen numbers are pretty much identical. Why is this one driving demand this quarter when that one didn't drive demand 2 quarters ago? It's because they're simple-minded. They don't get it. The depth of interest behind this brand is so great. The only way that you're going to dent into the hard seltzer market that White Claw and Truly own is with something like this. No one else can come into the hard seltzer market and really capture the excitement that Topo has the last month, right? It would be next to impossible. You know how hard it is to get shelf space?
Yeah,
right?
No, it's impossible. And to be able to go from 0% market share to like a 20% in Texas and to have 7% nationwide or something after just a few weeks of having the product on the shelves, it's pretty remarkable.
I know he mentioned it, but the way that he mentioned it was like an afterthought. It's like, yeah, well, we got the 20%. Guys, we freaking launched a hard
limited
seltzer
market. And his only answer to the supply chain problem is, well, we think we were right on doing a limited market rollout. Yeah, of course you were right, because you didn't even know this was going to be big. 20% market share in Texas, 7% of the hard seltzer market overall, and apparently working with Coke to figure out how to get more water. Good luck. It's all about the innovation brands. They keep talking about the divide between their legacy brands and the innovation brands. Not their Coors, the Coors Original thing. What's that called? That's a legacy brand, but their innovation brands are the future. So that's their Topo and their Zoa and all of these things that the Blue Moon Light Moon, whatever it's
Blue
called.
Moon Light Sky, Dave. Hey, have you had one? It's pretty.
No, I have not
Friday.
had one.
It's tomorrow Friday. Let's do this. Let's go to lunch tomorrow at our favorite old school Friday place where we used to go to every Friday. They have I can't say it right. Yuengling. They have Yuengling there and Light Sky. Jordan, you should meet us up tomorrow for lunch if you can.
I'm in.
We should do that. We'll do a Molson Coors taste test Friday lunch.
Are we live streaming this?
Maybe we'll live stream from lunch. We should do that. Yeah, we should do an old school.
Should I take an Uber? Is it going to be that kind of lunch?
Take an Uber, dude.
Yeah, you should always take an Uber.
Let's do it.
$70 Uber to Dallas.
Dude, I got the coolest gift sent to us, all 3 of us. They sent to Chelsea Corner. Chelsea Corner's like, we got a gift to Dumb Money. It's a huge box. One of our viewers has a buddy that started a tequila company or a mezcal company. Wrote us the craziest, most wonderful note, 2-page letter to us, talking about how we changed his life, and he gave us each a bottle of this. So I got to give it to you tomorrow. So I'll gives each a bottle.
That's awesome.
A huge crate. Gave the Chelsea Corner. So yeah, I'll give you that too tomorrow if you can make it down.
Can we also talk about
tequila? I'm gonna make some ranch water out of that.
Yes, dude, ranch water.
With Topo.
Guys, I mean, here's the thing.
Do we have anything else to talk about with this? Because I do want to talk about some of the other earnings that we aren't covering. I know we had questions about whether or not we're going to do the Amazon today. If you thought that this was a dry call being the Euro... I don't know why Chris thinks that Euro calls are boring, but most analyst calls are boring, and Amazon is known for not ever having anything exciting on their calls. We've done a couple of them.
Oh my God! Tap is moving now. So I had been buying more Tap throughout that earnings call. I was listening to the earnings call and I was like, this actually the call, what's actually being explained, if you could kind of read through the Euro dry dialect, like if you could see beyond that, what you're seeing is the greatest earnings call ever for a beer company. They just won't enunciate it in a way that gets you excited. So I was buying more, and I'm so upset because I tried to throw another 100 contracts in for summer. I'm not even talking about which contracts I'm in or whatever, but they wouldn't. I kept raising my bid, and they filled 40 of the 100, and now the ask jumped up so high, it's just ridiculous. But no, I've been buying. I bought a whole bunch of different contracts.
And it did not get filled because I was trying to not overpay?
I'm not going to talk about how much I own or how much I'm making anymore on tap. I know I said it a few episodes ago. I was up a couple $1 million. But I have this figure in my head for how much I want to make, like my goal. And I know that if I talk about it publicly, it will not happen. It never happens. If I talk about it publicly, it never happens. Someone
Wait,
will,
I thought
someone
your
will
whole
literally
thing was you wanted to put things out there into the universe for them to happen.
No, not when it comes to
Oprah
this
fan
stuff.
on
This is too important. And like, if this thing happens, if this number in my head happens, I will come out and we will have a party episode to talk about it. It might not happen for a few months if all goes well with Tap, but I have a goal in mind, and it's a big, ambitious goal for how much money I want to make on this trade and the way that I want to make it. And I'm just going to keep it to myself for now. And over the next few months, if it happens, we'll talk about it. It's kind of ridiculous. But I did buy more. I want to let you know I did buy more today during today's episode. I loved everything that I heard. You know what else I bought yesterday, guys? This is kind of crazy.
What'd you buy?
I love these little they're like I don't know what they call like a pair trade, I guess they call them. So I bought Coke options that expire tomorrow, Coca-Cola options, because I was hoping, and it didn't really happen, but I was hoping they were going to come out and really, really hype up the Topo today on this earnings call, and that would have an impact on Coke today, because there's basically no premium. There's virtually no premium to trade Coke options that expire tomorrow, because Coke's not having an event today or tomorrow. But I like doing that. If you find a company that has earnings that you think the result of those earnings are likely to impact another company that does not have earnings that week, often you could sneak in and buy options in that other company without the premium that you're paying for the company that has earnings. So anyway, my Coke is up a bunch.
When Coke did their earnings a week or so ago, they mentioned Topo. They gave us that kind of first sneak peek of the 20% market share in Texas. That was new. So basically, that was the opposite of the trade that you just did.
Exactly.
Trading the Coors thing when Coke had their earnings. Can we talk about Apple's earnings? And Apple is it up? It's slightly up today. It's barely moving. Apple had
it was up like 4% last night, Dave.
Sales. Yeah, it jumped up, but then it looks like it jumped back down.
I know.
So this is
it did a reverse
6 month. Here's a 5 day. So yeah, it spiked up and now it jumped down.
Wow. I feel like
record sales because of exactly everything that we've been saying. It is the super cycle for the iPhone 12 with 5G. It is better demand for Macs than ever. And iPads, they're $90 billion sales quarter, up 54%. Their profit doubled to $24 billion, blew away expectations. Mac revenue up 70%, iPhone sales up 65%. That's $48 billion.
There's a disappointment though,
sales.
Dave. AirPods are down, and they're like laying off staff, AirPod staff, and that's a little bit of a disappointment, because that was like such a juicy segment for them. Such a juicy segment. It really was. Like if that could have just kept up there another year.
I'm gonna say something about AirPods. I get annoyed when I see people wearing them.
I just started wearing them. I literally just started wearing them a few weeks ago. I've had them.
Really?
I've had them for a while.
Like in public or like on a call?
No, I don't really wear them in public, but like if I'm out riding my bike or something, like I used to wear my old school big earphones while I was doing stuff like that. Now I just put the AirPods in.
No, dude, for riding a bike, like there's nothing better. You got to go for the bone conducting. These are amazing for bike riding. You can't use AirPods; they fall out and.
How much do those cost?
These are like $100.
A Bluetooth? They're Bluetooth too?
They're Bluetooth, rechargeable. They're amazing. But you can still hear because they don't cover your ear hole.
That freaks me out a little bit.
Right here.
Who makes those?
Right
Is
here,
that...
and you can hear the music, but you can still hear like traffic and stuff. So for cycling, there's nothing better.
But does it sound good? I want like the real, like I want to sound amazing.
Great. It sounds, I mean.
Yeah. I think the new iPad, the new earpods Pro sound great, but they fall out of my ears. The old model, they stayed in way better. But rumors are that they're going to have yet another brand new design. They don't come out with a new design often. It should be coming soon. But Apple's also doing a $90 billion stock buyback. They're raising their dividend. Everything is on fire for Apple, and yet somehow the stock just can't stay up. Google.
I feel like
Google had a record-breaking revenue. Up 34%. Sales up 34% to $55 billion. 81% of that is from advertising. And do you know where their money's coming from? YouTube.
Yes, YouTube.
YouTube is up 49% to $6 billion. They had 1 billion hours of watch time per day.
Well, that's because like
You're
people
Google,
like me
aren't you,
now.
Dave?
I don't have enough Google. I'm in a little bit.
I don't have
but-
any.
And I don't have any Facebook.
I've got,
Facebook
like-
also blew out earnings because their ads
I've
are
got like
up.
1 or 2% in Google.
All I do is live in my closet now, and I sit here on YouTube all day in my closet, and I don't even own the company that's making all the money from that. Like, it's just dumb. But
Apple, Google jumped on earnings, holding up there. Facebook, I heard, is down. No, Facebook's up. Look at that.
I
don't have
just, you
Facebook
know what I
either.
want to do? I really, like, my soul is telling, look, the stock market's down now. I still feel like I just want to own, like, beer companies and soda companies and stuff. Because, like, I feel like the restaurant reopening trade is so strong. The concert reopening trade is so strong. Yeah, will
And
it
it's
happen in the Europe
underappreciated.
quickly?
I feel like it's one of those people haven't yet made the connection that we're reopening, and I think there's still room to go.
Totally, but like it's hard. Like Cheesecake Factory came out with earnings yesterday.
The other news that I saw this morning is cruisers are cruising again. The CDC says that cruises are going to happen in mid-July.
We've been talking about that one. That's like kind of the last leg, right, of this whole thing. And I do have some cruise stock. I'm underinvested in cruisers now, but I don't know, guys. I still feel like the cleanest trade going into the summer is not to get too fancy with anything and just like beer and alcohol and like these companies aren't going to double or anything. But if like I'm going to lever up in them, I'm going to get options in them. And I told you I wanted to get into Sam Adams. I really feel that Sam Adams is going to totally crush it this summer. And the only negative for Sam Adams is this threat of Topo Chico hovering over their head now, which is ironic, right?
Yeah.
But I don't actually think Topo's pulling from Sam Adams. So it's like the perception that it will pull from Sam Adams and Truly, when in reality it's pulling from White Claw. So I don't know. Maybe I'll wait a little longer to get back in the Sam trade, but I really want to get back in the Sam trade. I'm in so heavy on the Tap trade. I think it's almost psychotic how heavy I am. So I got to chill out. I can't really add a lot more.
I think you've kind of lost your mind. But you're trading for your charity, so right?
Mostly for my charity, yeah. Most of it's in the foundation.
What about that White House news that I sent you earlier, Dave? Did you see that?
Did you not send it to me?
Is this a text?
It was to the group text. You probably shouldn't read it
group?
on
The big
air.
group or the small group?
The big group.
Oh, let me find it. Oh yes, should we put that on the screen?
No.
Jordan's sending memes as if they're news stories. You have to be careful what you click in that big group.
Oh my
I'm
God.
doing it just to make you guys laugh.
Can you put that on the screen?
Do not. Do not.
No? No, I don't put it on the screen.
Do not.
Not unless you want to be canceled permanently.
Okay, forget it.
So yeah, we still have over
Forget it.
1,000
Look
people
at
watching
Tap
us, and it's just
Upset.
us having our random
Dude,
side chat now.
7% on Tap. That's amazing. It's basically just canceling out my Peloton position, which is down 6%.
Oh, I am so glad I never got into Peloton.
Oh, look at wait, was that Tap? Was that Tap?
That was
Look
Tap.
at
This is Peloton.
So so I should talk about my Peloton hedge. For those of y'all who don't follow me on Twitter, if you don't follow me on Twitter, you really should, at Chris Camillo, guys. Because I honestly, sometimes it's just easier for me to tweet stuff out than to even put it in Discord. But you should know this. I want to give credit where credit's due. Now, guys, I don't want to talk about specifics here because it's not my deal. He can talk about specifics. But Piton Gaines did some amazing field research. He's been doing amazing field research for about a year now on Peloton, as we all know. And he uncovered some interesting data related to deliveries of Peloton bikes. And they are down dramatically, it appears, at least in some very key markets. They're down dramatically. Based on his field research, it's indicating a sudden drop in bike deliveries. Now, this is not unexpected because of the reopening and also because of the summer months and weather getting warmer, but it is pretty dramatic. And I think I am now concerned about this quarter. I've always been concerned about this quarter, but I initially made a decision. I'm just going to stick with it. Now that I see actual data, field data, I am not willing to sit through this quarter with my Peloton long. So I have fully hedged, 100% hedged my Peloton long. I did it a couple days ago. I am fully hedged going into earnings. I bought the May 7th expiration 100 strike price put options to protect my entire long Peloton position. I'm glad I did it when I did it, but it's not even fully covering the down day that I'm having today in Peloton. So I bought some more this morning because I felt I needed to buy more puts to cover what's happening. But yeah, I'm fully protected. I still love Peloton. I love the Peloton story long term. I don't want to sell my stock. There would be a massive tax hit for one thing, because most of it's in my individual portfolio, not in my charitable foundation. So I don't want to take the tax hit. And Peloton's a story I want to be in for, I think, many years to come. So I'm just protecting myself for the next month. That's what I'm doing. I meant to tell the community yesterday, but I tweeted out this morning, and it's out there now, so you guys know. Okay? Rough day. I think people are starting to see. I wonder if that tweet I put out this morning or a little while ago is contributing to. I mean, it's a pretty harsh tweet. Like it's like the data's bad, and I'm a Peloton long. I don't know what Piton Gaines is doing, if he's going to hedge himself or just stick with it. But
I don't think you're moving the market on this. You have 7 retweets and 74 likes.
Ooh, 75.
But who are those people? It only takes one person with a monstrously big position to see that and be like, I'm out. No, I'm of course I'm not probably moving the market, but you never know. Listen, guys, cake earnings were out yesterday. We crushed it, guys. Our cake crushed it, man. Everyone's in cake, right? You in cake?
I'm not in cake. No.
You're not in cake? How are you not in cake, dude?
I was in cake for a while. I didn't get back in cake.
I'm going to probably sell my cake soon.
I don't think I'm in it.
I'm going to probably exit in the next 60 days or so, because here's the same issue. Here's the issue I have with cake and restaurant stocks. They can't increase their They can't increase their pricing that much, right? Like,
yes,
they just can't.
They can't increase
they're
their
only
pricing.
Make
they
so much
will
money.
fill their seats again. They can't increase their floor plan. They're not going to fit more seats in than they had pre-pandemic, and some of these stocks are already higher than they were then.
Yeah, they're just really they can't lever up and really take advantage of this roaring 2020s market this summer beyond a certain amount. That said, the news is only going to get better for cake the next couple months, right? Like, as we just see, you see New York's going to fully reopen like 100% on July 1st.
Yeah.
You understand those stories are going to come out every week now from some other part of the world. It's going to be like UK, like every week there's going to be a few stories. Well, the UK, London is going to fully open up on August 1st, whatever they decide. It's like, we're going to let indoor dining is going to start here in Czechoslovakia, right? Like every single week, there's going to be multiple stories about a major city that is either going to partially reopen, fully reopen restaurants. We're going to start allowing concerts. We're going to start allowing this and that. And it's just like nothing but positive. Don't you kind of see that happening?
No, I
Unless
see that.
we have a sudden issue that we're not aware of.
I think that we will continue to see new reopening stories and big markets that sell a lot of products.
And you know what I think of every time I hear one of those? More beer is getting consumed. More alcohol, more beer, more alcohol. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And so
I think
feel
UK will sell a lot of beer in the next 3 months. It's going to be a huge month. That's why I love the tap trade.
Yeah.
Although,
and listen,
when do
Europe
my
is
options
not.
expire? I have options that expire. I have some 7/16 options still. So July, April. Oh, I have plenty of time. Those could keep going up.
Yeah, I think this management team at TAP, I think they're being super conservative. I think if they don't mismanage, and they're already kind of mismanaging the Topo Chico Seltzer launch, they're kind of mismanaging it. They're kind of being too conservative. But if they don't completely screw it up, I think they crush their earnings for the next two to three quarters. Right? I don't know how they don't. I don't know how they don't just hit it out of the park and beat those estimates the next few quarters. So let them be conservative now. I'm fine with that. I think this will be a creeper stock over the next few months. They'll just kind of creep up slowly as we get those reopening stories. You're going to get the scanner data. Like you see, that was the most interesting, I think, comment of the earnings call was on scanner data, because that's what all these hedge fund guys use. They just also focused on scanner data. They all have the scanner data, and they're just trading off of that data. And I did like it when he was like, well, that scanner data does not, that it doesn't include like XYZ, and we're actually up 8% this week, but you're not showing it because I think what he was getting at was that on-premise is ordering typically off-premise stuff like canned hard seltzers. Like we would never sell a canned hard seltzer in our restaurant or bar, but there's a lot of restaurants and bars that do. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I'll give you a perfect example. Like a lot of country clubs, a lot of lower end bars, like they just don't care. They'll just sell that stuff because it's quick and easy. A lot of like poolside places this summer, they'll be selling it all over the place.
You sold Topo Chico bottles at your restaurant.
No. Well, that's different. That's Topo Chico, but like just as a bottle, but we mix it ourselves. Yeah, so we'll charge you $7, $8, $9, whatever, $6, $7, $8, $9 for a drink, and we'll put Topo Chico hard seltzer with our own tequila and our own lime. Right? I mean, it's just obviously because why would we want to pay money for a can of inferior product? Because it's always going to be inferior once in a can versus mixing it yourself.
But do you sell White Claw? Do you sell regular?
Never. Oh, we would never sell that. You don't sell any of that, do you? You don't do any of that stuff at Inwood?
Well, we have like 200 canned beers. We have crazy variety of canned things. I would be surprised if you walked in and couldn't get something similar.
You can't because Dave, you can't brew your own beer at Inwood Tavern. But you can make your own hard seltzers at Inwood Tavern. So anything that your bar can make, you'll never sell in a can.
How do you make a hard seltzer?
Yes, you can. You mix your own
true hard seltzer. You could make a vodka soda with a squeeze of lime. Is that what you're talking about?
Nobody really wants malt alcohol. Nobody actually wants malt alcohol in their drink.
In the summer of Topo hard seltzer, I think people are going to be asking for it by name.
You've got to give the people what they want, Chris. You got to sell that Topo Chico hard seltzer in your restaurant.
At Inwood Tavern, they will serve Topo Chico water with lime and tequila. They'll mix up ranch waters all day long.
That's a good point.
And they're not going to
sell. I'm trying to log into our POS system right now so I can see if we have a button for any of those products.
Don't do it, dude. I'm telling you.
I can't get it.
Lynn would freak out if you did that. There's no way. There's no way. I'm sorry. People are saying, what is scanner data? Let me explain. So this is point of sale transaction data. There are numerous ways to get it. There are numerous companies that sell it, including research firms that aggregate it and then sell the reports. I was actually thinking about getting it myself because I'm so deep into Molson Coors right now. But I'm like, why? Like, I'm not trading that. Basically, what it is it's access to how much of a SKU that store sold or a bunch of stores sell. So I'll give you a perfect example. There's a company, it's like an online tap company that has 40,000 bars in their system, and you could actually pay to see how much of each beer all these bars in aggregate are selling every week. So you can see that beer A is doing really well, beer B is not doing as well. And they have that for actual like C-stores and for grocery stores, right? And so all the scanner data is different. It's all kind of incomplete. It's all like a week delayed pretty much, or 2 weeks delayed, because they have to aggregate the data. They got to clean the data and publish it. But I don't know. It it sometimes doesn't give you an accurate representation of what's actually happening. For example, they're not really selling scanner data of just those places where Topo Chico hard seltzer is available. So you don't even know if it says, hey, it's this percentage of the market. You don't know what percentage of the market are they even available in, right? So there's all kinds of ways for the contextualization to be off with scanner data, just like what happened in the conference call today. But yeah, I think as that scanner data comes out, if Topo continues to have high sell-through, and that's what we need to look through, and I think it kind of will for the next couple months at least, Wall Street will start to increase their confidence levels in the product, because certainly management's not going to hype it. We learned that today, right?
Yeah.
The most they're going to say is, well, yes, it's going really well.
I listened to their earnings call last time just to kind of get a feel for, because I'm not someone who has followed Molson Coors ever. So I listened to their last call just to see if they were going to have any kind of exclamation point at the end of any of their sentences. And they didn't. And they didn't this time. They basically read the script, didn't get too excited.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, someone asked if we dumped or Discovery, because that stock was down on earnings. I did not. I don't have a big position in that. Anyway, it's pretty small. The reason why they missed earnings had to do with a massive increase in cost to launch their streaming network that for some odd reason, I guess, wasn't in anyone's estimates, or maybe it was more than they anticipated it to be to get that launched. So, by the way, you know who that helps, guys? That helps companies like Roku, right? Because that's where they're spending all that money. They're spending the money on like Roku to get people to download the Discovery app for the first time. So their costs were up a lot based on that. It doesn't necessarily change the thesis for me, so I'm not selling any of my Discovery on that earnings call. But yeah, it did pop down. Their costs are kind of running out of control. Hopefully they get that in line and the growth catches up with them. What else? You guys thinking about buying any? I was toying with the idea of buying Amazon options today for earnings, but now this market. Well, yeah, if I did anything, it'd be called. Only because if the market is starting to act ridiculous with some of these tech earnings, like Shopify just killed it. They crushed it, right? Like, what if Amazon crushes it and has a stock split? Could we get a couple 100-point move? Yeah, we can get a couple 100-point move out of Amazon. It could absolutely happen.
I think that stock split rumor that has just been floating around for years is not
Such a
going
joke,
to happen.
right?
But if it did,
yeah,
I'd be really happy that I have Amazon as my single largest holding in my portfolio.
But I still think the stock split only happens on a negative earnings, right? So like I don't think they're going to want to pull that out of their pocket if they don't need to. I think they're saving it for a rainy day. They're saving it for a rainy day, wouldn't you?
The thing is, do they even
I think we've already had plenty of rainy days. They basically
increase fractional shares. Why do you even need the stock split?
You don't need it,
because
and it's ridiculous,
people,
and it's a stupid thing that for some stupid reason the market the market buys these stupid stock splits. But it is what it is, right?
That I've heard is that it makes the options market more liquid.
I think they need to do a 5-for-1 split, and then it'll go up like 12%.
Oh, I was thinking 100-to-1, Dave.
100-to-1?
Yeah.
That's never happened in the history of the stock market, has it?
You don't want a $35 Amazon stock? They don't roll like that.
Why not?
You get a $35 Amazon stock? It's baller stock.
If you're gonna do it, do it.
But again, it doesn't
it
matter
won't be
what the price is.
$35 after it doubles on the stock split news, Jordan. It'll be $70. You're almost
it would go from 30 to 100
think ahead.
immediately.
You got to think ahead.
You know, a $50 Amazon stock. It's not Coca-Cola, dude. It's got man, $3,000, baby.
So stupid, man.
I'm Googling, has there ever been a 100-to-1 stock split?
Can I just say something right now? Oh, I wanted to buy more tap options yesterday, like really going deep on these stupid $55 options because they got so cheap. And I just didn't because I was so busy. I'm like, Chris, don't be ridiculous. You can't buy that much. I should have just done it. I'd be rolling in it right now. Rolling in it. If I would have bought this thing is up $3.50, dude. This is insane. What a move. What a move. And I'm telling you, people are absorbing that dry earnings call, and just like the news behind the dry call was actually ridiculously good. You know what's so great about this earnings, guys, is that the biggest concern for this company, which are those junky American premium beers. I say premium. We don't think of them as premium, but they call them premium. Coors Light and Miller Lite and Coors Banquet. Coors is crushing it. That's the biggest concern, and that's what they focused on. It was that crushing it. If that crushes it, it is nothing but blue sky for Molson Coors. I mean, if Coors Light and Miller Lite are going to have shit.
Dude, we got full baseball stadiums in Texas. Of course, Coors Light's going to crush it.
Jordan, if we have share gains in Miller Lite and Coors Light in 2021, do you have any idea what's going to happen to Molson Coors stock this summer? Could you even, if you add that to the story, even their junky mass beer lines, the ones that account for like 80% of their profits because they're so ridiculously profitable. I mean, literally, they're just selling water, basically, right, in the form of beer. And it's just like, and especially on premise, because like people don't understand that Molson Coors, every beer company, makes a lot more on premise than off premise, meaning when they have to sell this stuff to a grocery in cases of beer and it has to be shipped like that, and then you have the distributor, you have the retailer making money, the price points on premise are so much higher when they're selling it by the keg. So like on premise coming back is what you really want, right, for this stuff. It could be one hell of a summer. I might regret not owning more. I might regret not owning more. What the freak? Like, dude, I should have bought more. And now I'm not going to buy more now. It's ridiculous. I own way too much. But like, I should have bought more. I did buy more yesterday and today, but I should have bought more than the more that I bought.
Does it
It's
make
never
you a little
enough.
crazy when you go to the beer aisle and you see somebody walking away with a 24-pack of Coors Light?
No.
It just
I
weirds
love
me
it.
out. I'm like, why would you, they start looking around and they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get that Coors Light.
Oh, can I tell you
Sounds
something?
good.
You know what I bought, Jordan? I bought Coors Pure. And you know what?
Oh
I
yeah,
hated
is it good?
I hated it.
Yeah, I bet.
Hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it. So I have the. You know what is cool though? That comes in the little thin line cans, like the seltzer water, like the hard seltzer. I don't know whether to throw it away or to like keep it for the next time I have people, but it's kind of embarrassing to hand out that like that's the beer you drink, like that's the beer that you. And then I have to explain the whole story. No, I'm really heavily invested in Molson Coors, and it's a new
And they're
organic
like,
beer, and
don't
I heard it
care.
was amazing. I want to try it. I'm gonna have that whole conversation. But no, the reality is someone's going to come to my house and like I'm going to offer them a Coors Pure as that's the only beer in my fridge. It's not okay.
By the way, somebody
right?
said that I'm having FOMO, and I'm not having FOMO. I'm not missing out because I am in tap. I've been in since the 40s. No, I'm not. I didn't put like half my portfolio in it like Chris, but you know, but I've got a position that I'm comfortable with.
Oh my God. Do you know, I was out garage sailing at 7 a.m. this morning, like
you
40
said that
minutes from my
picture.
house. 40 minutes from my house. I got up at like 6:30. I did my Pilates stretching for my back, right? Because like otherwise if I get in the car and drive 40 minutes, I'm going to get all messed up after that back injury. And I am out there online at a garage sale, and I was so pissed off because I went to this sale because they said they had sports cards. Dave, you'll appreciate this. You know how it works. So what happened was the sale didn't have sports cards. The douchebag guy that was like the estate liquidator, it was part of. He just takes these cards to all of his estate. They're his personal cards, like, and he tries to make money selling these cards. That's me. That's first in line, baby.
This is
right there.
This is this morning.
So I got there and I'm like, so these are your sports cards? That is mismarketing. You can't list an estate sale and say that they have something and it's really just your butt taking it in and selling it for yourself, like as the estate liquidator at like full retail pop because you're trying to like take advantage of people.
all
that
those,
was like my whole
you
point.
know how estate sales work.
How these estate companies work, Chris.
Chris,
you should know that.
You are an expert in the estate sale business.
Yeah.
You know that when you go to a
it.
prestigious address, that they are going to load that house up with stuff from other houses because they're going to get more money for it.
Yeah.
But this wasn't a prestigious
That's why you want
address.
the independent ones that are not run by like real estate sale companies.
They load up like 70 to 80% of the stuff in there is brought in. You know that.
I know, but no, this is not a Park City. It was up in Frisco. It was just a random sale. It wasn't even by an estate. It was by an organization company. So that's why I felt confident. Like they don't really know what they're doing when it comes to pricing stuff, and they really didn't. The stuff was so mispriced. Yeah, this stuff was totally mispriced.
I'll add this to your collection of random photos you've sent me. There we go. Now we can pull this up in a moment's notice.
You know what I almost bought at the estate sale? But even that, they were asking too much more. I almost bought a double can of bee, insect repellent, like wasp spray. Like, I know it seems stupid, but that stuff costs like $12 a bottle now. Like, if you go to buy that stuff, it's like $8, $9, $10, $12 a bottle, and they had a couple bottles for $4.
What are you talking
but
about?
I was like, what? Like, wasp spray, dude. Like, do you never have to use like? No,
I don't know that
I never have like a wasp.
I've got the Executioner Pro that you turned me on to.
No,
and
wasp.
I go make a game out of it. Yeah.
No, for killing.
I use
wasps?
my Executioner Pro on. It'll knock down a wasp, dude. It will.
No, like we have them. They build nest on our house. Like they'll start a wasp nest.
Wait till they come down and
just
crack.
Oh,
and you get that electrocution.
The Executioner Pro is a nice. Not wasp, right? Mosquito racket.
No, it's not mosquito. You use that for. I use it for wasps, and then I use dude. And then for flies, I've got my bug assault.
Dude, look at Tap Go. Look at Tap Run. I don't own enough. I knew I was gonna feel this way.
You do.
I don't own enough. I don't own enough. I
remember when you
buying
said that about
more,
quick
dude.
serve brands.
I mean,
about what?
I remember when you said that about quick serve brands.
Yeah.
I feel like my account isn't up as much as I feel that it should be, because like it must be the Peloton.
It's all the way up to
even though
I was back in January.
I know, but I'm saying like my Peloton, I have.
But no, everything's down, dude. Your Bitcoin's down 2.5. Your Posh is down 1%.
That's
it's
why.
Just all,
I just have a lot.
Down.
I mean, my account's up insanely huge. I thought it'd be up even more with that tap move. All right, this has been a good day. We will, guys. Are we going to do a Topo? Dave, this shirt's too tight. I need to buy another one, but are you going to do one for Dumb Money? Should I wait for that to come out?
We had some requests in the live chat for a Topo shirt, so I think we should. Don't you think that would be a good next shirt to make? We haven't made a shirt in a while.
Yeah.
I think we could do a nice summer one. We could even do this.
It's
Just
not too tight. You're showing off the guns.
Could you have this? I wonder if they make this font where we could just have it say Dumb Money in Topo font in this color scheme. That would be cool.
That would be awesome.
If there's anyone out there who is a designer, who could actually make this font, because this is not a standard font.
On the top, Dave. On the top, though, you got to do it on the cap. On the cap, the Topo cap. If it said Dumb Money in
is a designer or knows a designer who could recreate Chris's top shirt, but instead of Topo Chico, it says Dumb Money in that style font.
Sweet.
That is what I want to do. So send me a message. Just send it to Dave at heythere.tv. That will get to me.
Wait, Dave at heythere.tv?
Yes, or Dave
at
dumbmoney.tv. I have so many email addresses.
Dave at dumbmoney.tv will definitely, you have that. That's easier to remember, I think.
Okay, so send me an email if you are a designer and willing to take that design and turn it into a Dumb Money design, or if you know someone who would do that for free.
That would
we'll give them like some serious like shout out. We'll show your Instagram account, whatever. But I think
pay
that
them.
shirt would be great.
We'll pay them. We'll pay them a $100 design fee. I'll Venmo them $100 if they can just do it real quick.
You've just really upped the budget for our merch that we don't mark up at all.
Crazy. What if we send them a shirt? What if we send them the shirt too?
Oh, they'll get that. I would do that anyway.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
If they're willing to accept Apple Pay, I'll Apple Pay them $120 because I love Apple Pay.
He keeps once you got the sale, quit selling.
I'll Apple Pay them $120, or I'll Venmo.
Nobody has said it, but we will make a ladies cut for you, Nina. Yeah. We will do
a
it.
female cut?
Yeah, we have in the Bella Canvas. They make a nice ladies cut.
Dude, definitely. Like I would get Amy one of those.
I'm a designer, but this is not designer advice.
Yeah.
Amy just never worn Dumb Money merch. I don't think she's worn Dumb Money merch. I got to get her Dumb Money merch.
Do you know what I gave Megan as her only Christmas present? Is a shirt with the three of our faces on it. And she wears it, and it is just so weird to see the two of you guys like in that position.
That's great.
Am I right boob or left boob?
You're in the middle.
I'm in the middle. Oh man,
your middle boob. Oh my gosh.
But that one, I don't even think we offered that in the ladies' cut, but I had one made for her because I knew that she would love the one. Oh, and the coffee mug that has our three faces on it. I use that. It's the one that I keep in the camper van now, and so I always have on that one. It's always Jordan. Because when you're drinking, it's either Jordan or me if you're drinking on this side. Chris is in the middle. It's a nice
if you're
design.
a right hand, it's me. If you're a left hander, it's Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. If I had a picture of that to pull up, I would do it. Oh, and if you guys are wondering if you want to buy any of this junk, we try to sell it at cost and not make money. I think we lost money last year. I'm still trying to figure out my taxes, but dumbmoney.tv, there's a link to our merch store. It's dumbmoney.tv/merch. And it's all good. It's all like Bella Canvas. I don't know why I'm pointing to this shirt, but because this shirt is not available on there. This is off of a random website. All right. What else?
All right.
Did y'all coordinate that you were going to wear Topo t-shirts for this?
No, we completely did not. But I'm curious, and I saw people asking, what is your t-shirt? Cyclist. Is that what it says?
It's a cyclist. That's all it says.
All
about
the bicycle. Jordan.
That's right.
All about the bicycle.
He's a bike man. He shaves his legs
yes, he
for
is. All right, guys. Well, I'm excited. This was, a little stressful going to this earnings today. I didn't know I was just hoping that nothing unexpectedly bad would happen, right? I didn't really care what happened with the stock. I just didn't want there to be some other weird thing that I had missed. And I think today told us that there's nothing that we're missing, right? Like there's really nothing that we're not seeing when it comes to Molson Coors. We've talked about this trade a number of times. If you're watching this show, you know it's the biggest trade I've ever made in my life by a large amount. And we're digging deep in our beverage channel of dumbmoney.tv/Discord of the Discord group. We're doing amazing research. Keep the research up. Keep the channel checks up, guys. Also, let's try to include some ZOA channel checks over the next couple of months. Let's really kind of gauge the degree to which stores are having reorders, that they're hopefully getting inventory in. This has been amazing. We're not missing anything. I feel comfortable that we're not missing anything when it comes to the Molson Coors story right now.
Yeah.
So, if things can just keep moving in this direction, I'm pretty confident about the next 90 days until what would be Q2 earnings. When it comes to Molson Coors, just stay on this road. We're not financial advisors. Do your own homework, poke holes in our thesis. This is what we're doing, not what you should do. We don't know your risk tolerance. Have an awesome weekend, guys. I don't think we're on tomorrow.
We are dumb money.
3 friends.
Sorry, I cut you off early.
That's all right. Cut me off. Go. Are we going to play our thing at the end versus at the beginning?
You were plugging. What do you have to plug?
All right. Oh, give us a thumbs up on this, and also hit the hit the bell.
No, what actually happened is I put the button in a different spot. The end show button was too close to everything else, and so I moved it, and then I messed up.
Oh, Dave, you know what I get today? I get my hair light comes in today. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing now that I'm kind of losing hair, but that will be here today, and I will put that above me, and it will give me. See that? See how Dave has a nice little a little like glow on top of him?
Yes, I have a light back there.
And
your hair basically disappears into the thing. It makes it really difficult to cut out when I'm making thumbnails.
Yeah, so that won't ever. This is the last time you'll ever see me disappearing into the background if all goes well today. I will have the hair light installed tonight, and the next time you see me, I will have the little halo on top like Dave does. I'm pretty excited.
My green light burned out during this whole show.
The little LED?
Yeah.
Can LEDs burn out? Is that even possible?
Well, the battery ran out. It's one of those aperture lights.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I might get a more permanent light back there that's plugged in.
Oh, we might do a, you know what? We might do a little live segment. It might be on Twitter. Who knows? Like, so follow us tomorrow when we're having lunch, if we can connect to lunch tomorrow, and we do our little Molson Coors taste test. Follow us on Twitter at Dumb Money TV, right? Is that it? At Dumb Money TV?
At Dumb Money TV.
I'm at Chris Camillo, at Jordan McLean, at Dave Hansen. And honestly, dumbmoney.tv has all of our handles. So just go to dumbmoney.tv if you want to follow us everywhere. We're the guys that are on YouTube and everything else, but don't make any money doing it. So we're just here for fun. Hopefully we're making money in our trades, and we are today. Today's a good day.
Well, no, your portfolio is down today, as is mine.
No, my portfolio is up huge today.
After
I'm up
Piton?
huge today. But, oh my gosh.
Yeah, because he's hedged.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm up. Even if I wasn't hedged in Piton, I'd be up huge because of my tap. Look at tap.
I am down
his tap is
$113,000 today. And it's
I am
mainly because of, let me sort by dollar amount lost. Tesla is
Tesla's
my big
down
loser.
3%.
3.5%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sabre is down almost 4%. Restoration Hardware is down 1.4%. Although I'm not concerned about them.
I am up on. Guys, I am almost up 7 figures in tap today. That's crazy. Just today. But I'm not up that much as my portfolio because I'm getting crushed in everything else. But still, it's a good day. It's a good day. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go celebrate.
This was a nice long episode for everyone who thinks we don't stay on long enough. We are definitely on long enough today.
We're on way too long. This is way too long. We got to cut it. Just cut it.
No, but you see what happens here? We've only lost like 100 viewers since we stopped talking about anything relevant. So it's really, they don't care what we talk about. We just show up. All this research we do, all this like preparedness, not necessary.
If we go on any longer, I'm just going to put my TikTok for you page on, and we'll just start watching that and commenting.
Oh, you should do that.
Stay on all day.
Can you share
That's
your
the
screen?
only way. No, I don't.
Do we need to eat? Oh, and we need to eat
I need
tomorrow.
to go eat. I've been garage sailing, dude, since like 7.
For the well, we lost another 25 viewers since I said that. But for those of you who are still with us, tune into Hey There, Dave here today at probably around 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock Pacific. There's a new video dropping, and I think you're gonna like it.
Nice. So that's what you've been doing all week.
Yeah, when he doesn't show up to meetings and stuff like that, I'm like,
yes, Dave is not showing up to anything. I'm like, I know what he's doing. He's doing a Hey There, Dave here.
He locks himself in, and I think he throws away. I think he puts his cell phone like in another room.
I can't concentrate. If that thing keeps going off, I can't. Yeah. I had 60 unresponded to text messages yesterday when I went to bed, and most of them were in that varsity group. That's a very active group chat we have going.
It's been active
including,
lately.
I saw that we sold some shoes.
What? What are you talking about? Who sold shoes?
Jason saw us talking about these. If it'll come up there, the Hey Dudes that I was talking about.
Oh yes,
he bought those.
Hey
Those are
You
good.
know what's
I like
funny
those.
is that those are they look Miller. They do. Those are totally him.
I bought 2
I don't like the
pairs.
plastic. Is that plastic on the side though, or I don't really love that.
No, it's like woven.
Okay.
It's like a woven
Yeah,
material.
love the
It looks
dudes.
like if you zoom in. Maybe it's even like a suede. The gray part was suede. I don't know.
Dude, can we I'm not into sponsorships, like anything related to finance, but that'd be awesome if we can get like a dudes sponsorship.
No, dude, Tom's, man. Tom's.
We're gonna have dudes, Crocs, and Toms, and we're all gonna sit here fighting over which are the best. So,
3 sponsors. It's each window has its own sponsor.
And we're just cutting
I'll
each
be
other
sponsored
off.
by
We're just
Tom's.
cutting each other off, just arguing why ours is better. Awesome. All right, I gotta go eat, guys. I gotta go. I'm starving, dude.
I was gonna show you which shoes that I bought and just get.
Okay, yeah, I do want to see those.
If I
Dudes?
can
You
find
do
them.
dudes?
Yeah, they're dudes.
I'm gonna
but
go
I don't know if I
actually
can
get-
log into my account here.
I want to get new dudes, but I feel like my old dudes are still just fine. Like I can't rationalize going out and spending $30 again.
I have nice ones that I think I bought the exact same ones as you, but then I went online and they have some really nice new styles. So, okay, these are the ones that I got. And it looks like an ad just took over. Hang on.
I was like, that's what you got?
Just one more step.
Okay, so can we see what they are? So I got these and these. So I got these.
Wait. What color? Oh, that's kind of cool.
These are like a here. They're like a woven.
That's nice.
And the thing I like about them is they have the holes in the bottom for breathability.
Ooh!
Just don't jump into a puddle. But that's a new innovation that they've recently done. And then this is the other pair that I bought that I think I like.
Now you're getting crazy, Dave.
Look at those.
Ooh, I like those. Those don't have the right sole. Wait, do those have the same soles with the holes?
They
in the
do
bottom?
not have the same sole. These have the normal sole.
I'm buying those right now. I like those.
So the other ones, these ones, I didn't get this colorway. The colorway I got was.
Yeah, I don't love that. I don't love that.
Well, that's because it's the wrong colorway. Hang on, it's these. Look at these.
All right.
Maybe I think they look better in person than here. But
yeah, pretty nice. I like the other ones better though.
I'm gonna give that a meh on a scale from 0 to Tom's. I give that a meh.
But how about the other ones, Jordan?
I like the ones with the holes in the bottom, mainly just for the hole in the bottom function. I think that's a good.
Okay, so these I believe are their socks line, and these have holes basically everywhere, but the soles are solid, and then the other one is a solid material. And
Dave, did you get those, or do you actually have those
I have
right
them.
now?
I don't have them up here. They're downstairs. I don't wear
those
shoes.
look ridiculously comfortable. Are those like the fabric on those?
They are the best. Yes, it's because it has that kind of cotton lining on the inside. It's like wearing socks, but not quite as tight.
Okay. Bullish, if you're watching, or if not, I'm going to have you watch this. Can you please cut this segment and send it to Dudes and get us a Dude sponsorship? I love this company so much. Like, we will be their great. I can guarantee you there's no other Finfluencers sponsoring Dudes. I want the Finfluencer exclusive on Dudes.
I will personally
They're amazing.
sponsor Tom's. I wear them every day. Every day.
Yeah, I mean, I like
especially my
Tom's.
2. I just got, and if you follow me on Twitter, you would know. I just got 2 pairs.
Do we even
camo
need a
Toms.
sponsorship? Because these
And
shoes
they're
are not
they're the
expensive.
best
I
things on
bought
the
these.
planet.
These are like under $65 a piece.
Oh, they used to be $35. They doubled their prices. That means they could afford to pay us something on the back end.
Or just give
$65.
me shoes. If I got a free pair of camo Toms every 6 months,
I should mention my Hey There Dave here
might be the
sponsor
best thing
today.
that's ever happened in my life.
That's all Jordan wants.
That's why I just want a free pair of Toms every 6 months.
That's all I really want is a free pair of Dudes. That's all I actually want. I don't want any money.
You
Can you just send me
I don't think we can get any of these shoe sponsorships because your entire background is a competing brand.
That's a good point. Well, you can
throw
put
a pair of
Toms
Dudes in the
Nike,
middle of those
except
Air
for I
Force
see
One.
one pair of Adidas down there.
Dave, you don't get it. I will switch out that entire back shelf with nothing but Dudes. I will have a different pair of Dudes in every square for the episode that they sponsor.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
All right. I'm out.
All right.
You can keep going. I'm out.
No, I'm out. We'll see it. This is Dumb Money.
All right. Later, guys.
Subscribe if you aren't already.